Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
Hey, thank you for joining me. This is Inflewence. Today I have Hitch, FT-26, which is their masterpiece version of Hoist. And if you enjoy this video, after you get done watching it, of course, you can give me a subscribe. I'm on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I may get there by 2038, which is probably when FanStoys will release their last Stunticon, and you'll see that video. So just subscribe if you want to see that in a few years. Anyway, so this is Hoist. Of course, fans, my initial thoughts, how I do the 360. His spoiler stuff is a little crooked. That's all right. I do have some complaints. There are a few complaints. Of course, the paint is lovely as usual. We'll see how long this chrome holds up. Hopefully forever. I seen somebody paint it white, which is kind of cool. I wish they would have included those maybe things, but I mean, it's not a big deal for me. Hoist isn't a super big character for me. I'm just a completionist, and I want every Transformer that I was connected to as a kid, which, like I said, he's not a big figure for me, but I do want a representative of all the G1, at least season 1, 2, and 3. We all know how 4 went. With that said, again, paint is lovely as usual. His hands are kind of weird. The plastic isn't, I think because it's not painted, it feels like kind of, not that Magic Square's plastic is terrible, but Magic Square's plastic is not as good as FanStoys plastic usually. So that's what it reminds me of. And like I said, it could be just the paint. It is a little loose. He does have a little, his legs are a little loose. They don't make him split or nothing when you don't want him to, but it will fail, and we'll get the articulation and show it there. Let's get into accessories. So here we are with accessories. Of course, he has the card. Not too great as far as the picture. He looks black on the picture, but it is the tech spec card, and it has him and a little darker there. It's better there. I just think the digital picture just isn't cool, and all the chrome parts are white in this picture, including the legs and everything, which is a weird thing to me. Maybe they were going to make it white and then they changed their mind at the last minute, or maybe they will come out with one that's white. You know how they do. And again, the book is the same. The book does miss some stuff. I didn't use the book. I actually used FanStoys video guide, but their video guide missed some stuff too. So you got 2 extra heads. So you have the toy head. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is the toy head. I'll probably find a picture of it. And you have this head. I think I like this head better than the head that's on it. But this head does have the, what you call it? Is it a hologram, or I'm not sure what this thing is. I know on Trailbreaker what it is, but I'm not sure if it's the same for both of those. It does have it connected on. You can transform it with both heads, either heads on, because they all have that gimmick where you got to push this up to transform it, and we'll get there. He has a hand, an extra arm and hand, in case you want to add it to where the pistol arm is, the gun arm or the spray arm, whatever you want to call it. And he has the mask from that one episode, the googly eye mask. And this mask does fit on the head that's on him. It fits on this head as well, kind of pretty tight. Fits on this head that's on him, and we'll show the different heads in a minute. Pretty tight. It does not fit on the toy head. At least I couldn't get it to fit. No, I don't think it fits on the toy head. So if you have the toy head on, you can't put the mask on. So how you get his head off is you take this thing off. It's just connected onto there. Just pull his head, not all the way up. Pull it off the ball joint. So put this head on. On. You can see. You also can insert this in the back. It's just a peg and a clip clips around there. And there he is with that. This face came on him. A little bit slimmer. Guess it's all up to you, depending on how you feel. It's a little slimmer and the ears are a little round. Face is a little slimmer. So then you have this head and it has this on it already. I think I'm gonna leave that head on. So you have an extra accessory. And if you want to include this arm, you need to pull this off. Comes off. And to put it back on, I'll show you, but you have to put this, goes up. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little arrow. But you take this off and you can kind of tell there's an R on here that, see that R? I guess that's for right hand. And here you put this in here. It only goes when you put it in. If you have it wrong, it'll look like that. Turn it around and then it goes all the way and these line up like that. Now the guy told you to pull this whole thing off. You just have to take this off the ball joint and it's really easy to do. Then you insert this the right way with this up, goes all the way up, and you just put this back on the ball joint. And now he has two hands. If you like that look, put it off the ball joint and just pull this out. And now when you're putting this back on, the R goes out, which is the easiest way to remember. And then this, it's more so for this that it has to be up or it won't fit all the way. When you first get this figure, there are a few things you need to do just like normal. Right here, these flaps were in. You need to pull them out. You just pull this out to get to the flaps up in there. See, they fold in for transformation. They were in. It didn't say to do that, but I figured that out because they were in. Of course, this thing is in all the way. So you just have to pull, it's in like that, and you just have to twist it around and pull it out. This is pretty loose. When you're manipulating it, it does go like this. It's kind of annoying. His legs are all the way down. This thing right here will kind of get in the way. So you want to move this back like that. Move his legs down. They're on, you'll see that joint. It's like a double hinge joint. And it's like this when you get it in the box. I guess because of the feet, to save room, the feet are pointed down. And you just turn that around. And then you can put this back up here like that. And then you can have the legs. You can have them all the way up. I like that. You can have them all the way up. Or you can move them down a little bit. Just so it does create a little more gap there. But it makes him a little taller. Depending on how you feel he is. How tall or short he is. I like it up because it gives it a little bit more stability. Not that he's unstable. I don't want to paint that picture, but it is. You also have to move these. This is another thing that gets on my nerves. It comes out often. Like it feels super tight. Then when you manipulate it, it'll pop out. I don't like that. And you have to push his head all the way down. His neck piece right here goes up due to transformation. So you just have to push it down. Usually do it with accessories, but we can look at it real quick. See their Mirage and Jazz with the Trailbreaker hoist, of course. Trailbreaker. And it's just a normal FansToys box. Some comparisons. I don't have FansToys Trailbreaker out, so I got to use X-Trans bots. You know, the FansToys Trailbreaker. I still don't have one. FansToys Outback and a Trailbreaker there, just to show what that looks like. I think that looks good. And again, if you think he's shorter, you can make him a little bit shorter than he is. So then he's a little bit shorter than Trailbreaker, or you can make him a little taller. If you think he's taller, you can make him a little taller, and then he's kind of on par with Trailbreaker. Get into articulation. Head goes down about that much, not much, goes up that much. You can get it a little bit more. If you move this up a tad bit, you can get it down more than you can just on the ball joint. Not that much more, but a little bit more. And it also covers that little space up. But as far as that, then it goes all the way around. The one that comes on there doesn't move. Neither does this one. It's just fixed on his head. Arms can go all the way around. You can move these things in the back down all the way, or up all the way, and put it up to get it out the way. So arms go all the way around, and you can move this out like this if you want to get his arm all the way up. So you can use that, but it does get in the way when it's like this. It's the mirror back here that gets in the way. Elbow, not double jointed, which is disappointing, but just a nitpick for me. I don't need it to be double jointed, but again, it probably should be double jointed. Bicep swivel right here at the elbow. I should say elbow swivel, probably. The biceps up here. Hand goes in, like I said, it's loose and it's weird, and it comes off the ball joint sometimes. It's kind of like X-Transbot's hands. The way their fingers were, it's not as quality written as Fanstoys usually are. And this ball joint, this thumb is loose. It's not loose to the fact where it'll move by itself, but it may get there, just noting it. And there's only a hinge and just a ball joint. There's no second knuckle. Here you have two knuckles. You have the bottom knuckle on a pin. You have these on individual pins, and you don't have the third knuckle. I know somebody complained about not having the third knuckle, the knuckle up here. It doesn't matter to me that much, but just stating it. And again, the arm goes in and out. So that's cool. Waist, you can get waist all the way. Ab crunch is not really. You can get a back ab crunch if you really wanted it, but you got to kind of destroy the sculpt to get it, because it's unpegged back here. Yeah, though it's not ideal, I guess. But no ab crunch. I know people get upset when there's no ab crunch in 2022. Again, the ab crunch doesn't matter to me that much depending on the character, and maybe that's why. Maybe I'm just biased. So you have out, and it's friction, but it does fail. If you shake it, it'll fail. It kind of fails easily too, so that's not ideal. I understand why ratchets are not used out, because they don't have, I just say use thin ratchets. To me, that would be the compromise. I know people don't like ratchets because you have either this, and then usually they have the long tooth ratchets. So you either get this or you get this, and that's like the first click. I know there's smaller ratchets out there. You can just have a ratchet that clicks out to here. I guess they want people to be able to get it exactly where they want it, but friction, does fail sometimes. And if you do get him, he is heavy. He's a heavy bot, of course. All this is die cast up here, so he's top heavy, but it doesn't fall over. But if you do get, let me show, take one for the team. You see, you get him out a little bit farther, and he's doing the splits. So if you try to get him in a farther pose, he will do the splits. So this, you gotta pull down the thighs a little bit, and this is on a ratchet, of course. Usually they are. You pull down the thigh to get, let me see if I can get it full hurdles with the thighs all the way down. Now you still can't get the full hurdles with the thighs all the way down. So you get about like that. Now he's not hurdling, he's definitely hitting it with the back foot. You have a swivel right here at the top, the thigh swivel. It's not in here because of that extra joint that you have. Knee is not double jointed, but it does get you a little more than 90 degrees. Well, a lot more than 90 degrees, but not all the way to his butt. And that's just friction. That has the ability to fail as well. However, it's okay for now. Feet have minimum rocker, about like that, like that. If you get this extra, this is for extra stability. You can kind of move, you can move that back if you want, and then you can kind of get the toe tilted down like that, or tilt it up like that. But if you want that extra stability so the toe doesn't move, and it helps a lot, it does stand up well, you don't get that articulation in the foot, but you can get the rocker. And you have these that move, and that's pretty much it. From the back, it's super clean. You can see. And time for transformation. Let's get into it. Now, I'm not doing it in any type of order. I'm just going to do it. You do have to do certain things before other things, but I'm not doing it in the order that they tell you. I'm just going to go about it like this. We'll move the feet down, move the feet in. Because really, you don't need him to stand up anyway. So pull this out like that, and you can lay him down. Pull this out all the way. Sometimes in order to get that out, you're gonna have to go under, but we'll get there. Pull this off here. Fold this down. Don't forget, so you don't forget. Move this out here like this. Then you can move this out on each side. It kind of supposed to move out together, but it's easier to just pull them out. It doesn't hurt anything. Then you can move this all the way up. Now you got all this out, and you can kind of see it's pretty intuitive. So with these sides, you just push them up in there like that, and that's how it came. You have these flaps right here that I'm going to push in now because I usually forget if I don't. That creates room for the legs later on. This right here, you can move this down, and this is what I was talking about, his head. Maybe because I did it, but the first time you may have to push it all the way up this way, because then you can get it to move down. There you go. So it's fine. One thing with the head I forgot, you want to push this up in order to use that, and then turn it around. If you have that other thing on there, it tells you to take it off, then flip the head around, and then put it back on. So now you have it like this. So now there's a piece right here that you can move around. You can see it's the piece with this bar on it. Flip this out too. I flipped that out. I flipped all these out. It don't really tell you. Now you can see this piece better. And this piece is going to flip around like that. And it flips around until you can get it parallel. Like this is parallel to this. It's supposed to be like that. And this comes in here like this. Kind of all does it automatically. Now this is kind of hard, but you want to pull that back, pull that down, flip this back here, and just, you can leave it like this for now. Make sure you have everything. Push this in, push this down, and clamp it, even though it will come out, unfortunately. But now push this down as much as possible, and you can flip this over. Move this around here, move this around here, and you got this kind of how you need it. Now for this, you want to collapse all of this and have this straight. Move this in here. It's on this joint and this joint right here. So this goes all the way in. You can move this out like that. Move this up here. Do the same thing over here. Make sure this is straight. Move this out so you can get it out the way, and then move this joint in more so like that, because you can move it in without moving the arms in, and then you can get these arms situated. Now the hand's just gonna be up in there like that, but you can figure it out. And you want to flip this around and stuff this in here. And how it works is you can pull this window out. Now, doesn't matter. You just got to pull it out before you go to stick the doors and the sides back on. But right here, you want to move this in, and it kind of rolls over onto this joint. At the same time, it's moving into here. You can see that. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's right. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. And you move this the same way, where you kind of roll it into this. You can see it better here. Like this, like kind of rolls in to there like that. And then you can get this arm situated. Just put, or hand, I should say, just push it down like that. You just want it to lay flat. And then you can kind of get all of this. You want to kind of hold this here because it'll come out as you're manipulating this. But you can see, if you move these in, they say to move it in now, but I did it earlier, so you ain't have to worry about it. Now there's a peg there that goes on there. I don't think it goes on that great, but this right here is really the connection that you want. And it'll get stuck right here. So you want to kind of get it around that if that's what you're doing. And right here is, you got to get it around there. Do that, and then do it over here as well. I'll show it from this angle. Hopefully I can tell. There you go. So you got that like that. This right here should be in there like that, and this should be in there like that. So now you have it right. I can't get my doors to stay. I'll deal with that. I'll figure that out when we get through it. So just readjust this arm. Now you want to work on these legs. Pull this up, pull this down. It tells you to pull these in closer together, but I don't think that's the proper course to me. So I pull these down first. I do everything for the legs before I get it together. Pull these legs together, it makes less room down here, so I keep them apart. Just know eventually you're gonna get those together. So then with this, you want to pull right here. It's this whole panel. I'll flip it over so you can see. Pull this panel off of here like this, and then you can move it up. One way it moves better than the other. I'm trying to figure out which way. I think it's this way. Yeah. So you move that up there like that. You do this again and move this up there like this. Those flaps are fold. You ain't gotta worry about it, because then you're gonna fold this flap up like that and fold this flap down. Now there's a peg there that's gonna peg in right there. It's soft pegs. It doesn't really peg in that great, but you can peg it, and you know you have it straight when all this looks like it's lined up. Get over here, flip this peg up, flip this in, move this over, peg it, lined up. Pull this peg out right here, because then that's going to peg into there in a minute. Now for these wheels, You see how it's all silver? I like that they did this. It says to pull it out. It doesn't feel like it's pulling out to me any type of way. But anyway, you're supposed to pull it out and then rotate it. Well, it rotates for me without pulling it out, and it just makes the legs or the tires lower so it'll get some roll on. Do the same over here. Yeah, I don't know why it just doesn't feel like it's doing anything to me. That's what it is. And then you're moving it all the way. And I don't know if you're pushing the tire back in or what, but we can try. All of this pop out. Make sure this is like this, because there's a peg hole here that's gonna, so what you're doing is you make a, I don't know how much it helps, but you're making a peg hole there, and there's a peg hole there and a peg hole there. And what it does is the peg hole on the actual leg will peg into there, and then that little side peg hole will like tab into there. This up here like this in order to make it easier for you. Now you should put it up and slide it together, because it should be flat together like that, and that's my mistake. Now you can make sure this is out, and maybe that's why it didn't go in. There we go. Did go in pretty well. Get everything together. Make sure these flaps are still right. This doesn't tab in great, and that's a complaint, I guess. And then you flip this up and get it to tab in up here. Make sure you have these flaps where they need to be. And I kind of push on the back feet to kind of get it in there. This side is in there, this side is not. I don't know, this side it gives me trouble all the time. You can tell this side is in how it is. This is a little bit down further. So let's see if I can get it in there or not. It actually rolls well. There you go. See everything that's going on. You see the chrome grille and lights, the amber lights. Got yellow here. Paint's done really well, as usual. One thing that Fanstoys always does well most of the time is paint. Now if it's gonna scratch off, let's hope not. And this door is great. Over here, I can't seem to get this door in ever, and I think it's because of the way I have the arms. I may have them wrong, because this doesn't look like it's 100%. If you can see that, it looks like it's a little bit pushed out. So it's kind of messing up the way the door tabs in. But it's not a big deal. Personally, I'm not going to have it in this mode. So then what's not in the directions is how you get the toe out. But it is rather intuitive. So I just move this all the way up. Pull this out. Then you want to move this up like that. And then move this down all the way as far as possible. And then you got the toe. You can move this back here. And there's the toe that has the wheel right here. It's kind of cool. Bring in side swipe. So then here we are. If side swipe needs towing, he can be towed. Have the tow truck in my fashion. You know I'm going back. Now this was a really not, I was about to say really easy transformation. Not easy, but it wasn't hard, especially for Fanstoys. And there's that thumb that I told you about. That's a negative. It came out, and it could be partially my fault. I could have it wrong. At least it didn't break. It just came off the ball joint. Ball joint's loose. So legs, you pull them out, get these separated. That peg is super tight. The one that you flip out, that thing is, whoo. But you can get it. Push it down. Get these legs out like that, and you can get them all the way up. Put this back. Put this back. You know, I'm going quickly. Move these up. Move these like this, and try to kind of flip them back down. Like I said, one way or the other, it goes faster or easier. Not faster. I think it's that way. Again, move that. Move this out. Move this out. Move this back down. It's definitely that way. That goes easier. If you try to go the other way, it hits a bunch of stuff. You know, I like to pull the feet out, give it some stability. Then you pull this out, and it kind of pulls everything out. Do the same over here. Lift this up a little bit. Move this out. Kind of pulls everything out again. Now, flip these up. Of course, I'm doing them now because I forget if I do not. Not sure what they do. I'm not sure. I'm thinking either they fill in or they may tab in somewhere. Move these out also, because since they weren't out and they never said anything, I assume they're easy to forget as well, and they're not really needed other than aesthetically to give it some fill in the holes. Let's move that. These down, pull these down. You can flip these. I'm gonna get this off of here, get this off of here, pull this up, pull that up like that. I'll just leave it back because pull this. You can move this wherever you need it to get out the way. Move this up here, and you can move the head, spin it around. I like to do all that. Push it down, push this thing down. There you go. Now we can fool with this. Move this up here, and you can flip this thing like this. It's really tight, but that peg is going to peg here when you get done, so you can kind of orient yourself like that. Then you can move this up. It just adds a little to it. Make sure all this is in where it should be. Then you can move this down, pull this out here. Bend it up. You can move it down here and then push this in like that. Now you can move this up, flip this up here. It gives it that green. Move this. Then wherever you can, like, you know, these two tabs are going to go in here. That's how you move this thing right here. So you move it in like that, but then as you're moving it in, you want to try to see how these go, because it moves. It doesn't go all the way in. You can see, there you go. And then you get it like that, and you can don't forget to flip this out, because it's going to be there to fill in that back. And then you can push it in a little bit like that. And now this, move that up. And again, I told you that peg right there pegs into here, gives it some stability. There we go. Get this back right if it comes apart. Home stretch. Now move the legs, or the legs. Move the arms. Push these windows down and move this back to get situated with that arm. Then you have this. You can put his thumb back on if it fell off. And there's that. Get it right. Again over here, move this back, put this down, put this back in here like that. Pull his arm out. Well, his hand, his kind of hand. Oh, don't forget the tires. Don't forget the tires. This tire already came up where it was supposed to be. Like I said, I'm not sure if there's a peg in there or not, because it does tell you to pull it out a little bit and then move it. But I've been moving it without it, and it just seems to stay where it needs to be. So there's that. Situate these wings wherever you want them and need them. Get his head together. There you go. FanstoysHoist. Again, I don't like this hand. It's loose and it's not befitting of Fanstoys usually. The ball joint, it comes off the ball joint. It doesn't come off super easy, but it does come off. So I'm noting it and just keeping it impressed. Other than that, I don't have many complaints. His legs right here, again, they are a little loose going out. So you can, if you're trying to have a wide stance, it can, but you see there, it's holding it. But yeah, it can do the splits on you by mistake. It does have some hollow in here because of the way this joint works. This sliding two lever joint. It doesn't bother me, just noting it again, since I do note hollowness in Hasbro figures. So just to be fair, gotta note it. Other than that, though, it's a pretty great figure. I mean, it's a Hoist figure, so I don't know how many people are like ecstatic about getting a Hoist figure. Not saying anything's wrong with the character, but we know it's not Optimus Prime, it's not those type of characters. But this is a great piece to add to your collection if you need a representation of Hoist. All right, this has been Inflewence. Thank you for joining me again, and I will get up with you in another video.
Life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want it.